Surf the future of data.
Have you ever noticed something? Some databases feel lightning fast. Others slowly turn into a complete mess. So most of the time, it's not the data's fault. It's how the database was designed from day one. Hello everyone, welcome back to DataSurface. So this is the channel where we don't just use data, we understand it, design it and engineer it properly. I am your guide for today, and in this video, we are diving deep into DDL, which is Data Definition Language. This is where you stop writing basic SQL commands and start thinking like a database architect. Quick note before we begin, if you are already watched our videos in this playlist, what is SQL, the full SQL roadmap and SQL data types, you are perfectly prepared for this video. If not, I strongly recommend checking them out from the playlist once before going through this video or after this video. They will make today's topic much easier to understand. Here is the agenda for today. Simple, structured, no confusion. We'll cover 6 steps. First, what DDL actually is. Then, how we build database objects using create. Next, the naming rules that professionals follow. After that, we will master alter for real world changes. So basically, these alters will have all the important commands like add, modify, rename, drop columns from the table. So we'll cover those. Then we'll understand truncate, rename and drop. By the end, DDL won't feel scary anymore. Let's begin. So think about this. Can you place furniture into a house that hasn't been built yet? Of course not, right? So SQL works the same way. Structure must come before data. So DDL is the backbone of SQL. So it's where we build the structure, tables, columns and rules before any data enters into the system. So why does DDL feel scary? One of the main reasons is auto commit. So in most databases, DDL commands cannot be undone. Once the command is executed, you cannot revert it, right? So if you drop a table by mistake, it's gone. So this is also where beginners get confused. They mix up deleting data with deleting structure. Today, we are clearing that confusion completely. So what is mean by DDL or what is DDL? DDL stands for Data Definition Language. DDL defines the container. DML fills the container, right? So if the data is water, DDL is the glass. DDL controls the physical blueprint of your database. Let's start with the first command. The most common DDL command is create. So this is where the house is built. You name the table, you define the columns, you specify the data types. Behind the scenes, SQL allocates real disk space for that particular object to store the data. So this is not theoretical, it's a physical. That's why create is such a powerful command, right? So if we look at a simple example, the syntax and how the practical example looks like the create command. So if you see create table, table name, then you'll give the column name, data type and the corresponding size for that. So that is a simple syntax for create. If you look at the practical example, create table, employees, employee ID is a column name, int is a data type, employee name, varchar or varchar is a data type, and we'll give the size is a 50, right? Salary number is the data type. So while creating any database object, the important key points here we need to remember, you need to follow the naming conventions or naming rules. So let's take an example of table. When you are creating any particular table, you should follow these rules. So the table name must begin with the character A to Z. So the name should be readable and easily understandable. The name should stay under 30 characters. And the most important thing is you cannot use SQL reserve keywords for the table name. For example, select, and also duplicate names within the same schema is not allowed. The next one is alter. So let's start with the alter suite. So in DDL, there are mainly 5 to 6 commands are there. One is create, alter, rename, truncate, drop. These are the 5 important commands. So we have already covered create. Now let's start with the alter. So this is where the real system evolves. What if your table needs a new column tomorrow? That's where the alter coming to the picture. In a particular table, you have created employee table. Either you want to add a column or you want to modify existing column or you want to rename the existing column or you want to drop that particular column. So that's where this particular alter should will come into the picture. So basically this alter internally will have another 4 commands: alter, add, alter, modify, then alter, rename, then alter, drop. So alter add is basically if you want to add a new column, we'll go with the alter add. So let's see syntax: alter table, table name, add, column name, data type, size. So for suppose you want to add a new column to the employees table, alter table, table name employees, add department is a new column name, and varchar 30 is the size, right? See, ideally varchar 2 we will use. That is the recommended approach. For example purpose, I just used here as a varchar. Okay. So this is how you can add the new column. So whenever you add a new column for existing records, by default nulls will be populated. That is the important point here. Let's move on to the modify. So if you want to modify the existing column, like sometimes the column exists, but it needs to be improvement, like more length or more precision or better definition, or you want to put some meaningful name, or you want to correct some typos. At that time, you'll go with the modify, right? Let's see next syntax: alter table, table name, modify, it's an important keyword, column name, data type, size, right? So see a practical example like alter table employees modified, emp underscore name is employee name, and you are increasing the size varchar from 50 to 100. Either if you can increase or decrease, both are possible. But while decreasing it, you need to keep couple of points and keep in mind. We will discuss in some time. So you can modify multiple columns also, more than one column also you can modify by using the same syntax, but you need to put the column names. Modify what are the columns you want to modify, and you can put the data type and size as well. Let's move on to the drop. So whenever you want to drop an existing column from the table, you can use this particular alter drop, right? So alter table, table name, drop column, column name. Like if you want to drop a alter table employee, drop a column department, you'll just put drop column keyword is important, and then you'll put department. More than one column also you can drop. That is also possible. Then renaming the column. So alter table, table name, rename column, old name to new name, right? So once you drop the column, it's permanently will gone. Okay. So always we need to double check before using the drop command. So sometimes the structure is perfect, only the name is wrong. You just want to rename that particular column. In such kind of scenarios, we'll go with the rename column. It's instant and safe. No data is touched. Only metadata will be changed, right? So these are the important notes while altering the columns. You need to keep in mind, right? Adding column is easy. New columns default null values will be populated. That's what we have discussed. For modify, so you can reduce the size only when the column is empty or the table is brand new. So if the data is already existing in that particular column, you want to reduce the data type size for that particular column, it's not possible. This is an important point. Rename only updates the metadata. Execution is instant. It won't touch any data. That is what we have discussed. So the drop is basically permanently destroy all the stored columns data and reclaims the disk space immediately. So once you drop it, it is auto commit. You cannot revert it. So please careful while dropping the object. Double check or take a proper backup. Then only you can go with the dropping. Okay. So now we have completed the create and alter suite. So in alter again add, modify, rename, drop. These are the 4 subcommands are there. Right. Now moving to the truncate. So clearing the data. So basically the truncate is a table level command. Like if you put a truncate table, table name, whatever the data is present in that particular table, everything will be removed, right? Something is like clean the house, right? So the structure will be there. It is something to just remove entire data set from the table. It's a much faster, no undo logs generated, resets, high watermark. So what is mean by high watermark? High watermark shows the maximum space a table has ever occupied, not its current data size. In simple words, so the basically high watermark is how far the database once went, not how much data it has today. So for example, the table it had once 1000 rows, now it has only 100 rows, but still the database thinks the table goes up to the 1000 rows. So that the 1000 level is the high water mark. So if you insert the truncate command, this particular high water mark will make it 0. I hope it's clear about the high water mark, right? Let's move on to the rename. So the renaming is, so here we have seen one rename is for the column level. Like if alter table, if you want to rename the column, we'll go with the alter table rename. But if you want to change that table name itself, rename old table name to new table name. So this is basically table level. So don't confuse it. Rename can be used in two ways. One is a column level, other one is a table level. And the final one is drop. It is removing everything, destroying the house itself, not vacating the house, right? So once you execute the drop, that object completely removed from the database, and the whatever the disk space is allocated to the particular object, it will be recovered by the database, right? So it is remove the data and metadata permanently. You cannot revert it. So please careful while executing the drop command. Drop table name is the syntax, right? So if you see the basic difference between truncate and drop, so the truncate is basically it will clean the data from the table. The table structure is still exists. Like if you take analogy of house, so it is just cleaning up the house. The house still remain. Whereas coming to the drop is something is like you are completely destroying that house, which means you are completely removing that particular object from the database. So both are auto commit DDL commands. You cannot revert it once you execute these commands, right? You didn't just learn commands, you learn how the database are designed. That's a big step forward. In the next session, we will cover deep dive about the DML commands, data modification language commands, right? If you are serious about SQL and data engineering, subscribe to DataSurface. And don't forget to check the playlist which is available in as part of the SQL 0 to Hero playlist. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.